Now I know what some of you might be thinking.
No one cares about you, show us your wife.
First, the compelling backstory about why new bike day for my wife Alice and why this area behind me, you'll see shortly, is going to turn into a brand new pain cave. And this story includes my beloved BMC Teammachine SLR01, a Wahoo kicker roller, and my wife Alice, which all happened for us last summer here in Australia, mid-December 2023. You see, my in-laws were staying with us. I've got a couple of kids under the age of 4, a boy and a girl. I've got a couple of girls, a little bit older than that, but they're still kids. We've got an old staffy who still can get a little bit crazy, and we've also got, well, I've also got a hyperactive wife, so a lot of activity is going on in this area right here. And when that is the case, I will always ship my expensive bikes, which, as you can see, I often leave against this wall here, leaving some magnificent black marks down here, which my wife and I often have good discussions about. I will ship all the bikes off to my studio/office, which is literally just a 3 to 5 minute drive down the road. So you might now be rightfully asking, how did the most expensive bike of them all, the BMC Teammachine SLR01 2, valued at over 15,000 Australian dollars, which I've technically never used on the indoor trainer before, which is perhaps the ironic part of this story, end up on the Wahoo roller in mid-December 2023. You see, I just returned from the local Saturday bunch ride. My kids were in the pool with Uncle Pete because it was a beautiful day with my niece and nephew, and they were screaming, "Dad, Dad, Dad, come in the pool, come in the pool." They heard me come home, obviously. So I thought, rather than being a knob and get my keys to the car, open the boot and slide the bike in the back of the car with a view to take it to the office later that day, I thought I'd quickly put the BMC in the garage and secure it on the roller and proceed to the pool. It should be safe there for the next 15 minutes because I mean, all the kids are in the pool. I've got an eye on them anyway. I was in the pool for 30 minutes, get out, dry myself, and then I proceed back into the house. So after drying myself from the pool, never fully, I'm always bringing water into the house. It's another story. I open this door, I walk in, and I see over there, my wife sitting here talking to her sister, my sister-in-law, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she was wearing bibs and also cycling shoes. Now, my wife hasn't been on the indoor trainer for a while, and I thought there was no way she was getting on it while her family were here, but she did. And if she was getting on the indoor bike, she had to put her bike on the trainer and take my bike off. So I quickly run through the garage door, this one here, and there it is, presented to me. Alice's bike has been put on the trainer by Alice, meaning she had to take my bike off the trainer and put it somewhere, and I can't even face to reenact this one. The BMC Teammachine SLR01 is on the ground, drive side down, lying on top of a rusty scooter. Now I know what the haters are gonna say. You get given that BMC Teammachine over there, so cry me a river, you absolute dickhead. But I could actually argue it's more important for a cycling YouTuber like me to keep a bike I've been given more immaculate versus, say, the general public who purchase their bikes with their own money. How could I argue this? Well, this is actually how I get paid, by BMC with
cash.
It's the only way I get paid by BMC with
cash.
So if there's marks, scratches, dents, dingles, bingles, whatever you want to call it, on the frame, not only is it very hard to sell the bike, you also will earn less money. And while that might seem a little bit particular or even greedy to some, I have made a video about how much we make, or how much I make anyway as a cycling YouTuber. You can watch it up there. So every penny counts. Now you might be rightfully asking, what happened to the BMC? What scratches and marks did this fall leave on it? We'll get back to that. So when the GM of Zwift Australia rang me up earlier this year and said, interested in our new indoor training bike for you and Alice in return for some content, I said, you've just rang at a very good time. So from that last scene to this scene, it's now been 2 months. And as you can see, the pain cave renovation is going so slow, it's now not part of this video. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna assess, is the Zwift bike dickhead proof? Now, I am right at the top of the dickhead tree. I don't like reading instructions. I just like getting stuck into things. Let's see how long this thing's gonna take me to set up. This would be corporal punishment for Shane Miller to watch. He would be disgusted. Won't be using those. spoken like a true road cycling wanker. Okay, and this is where the dickhead runs into a bit of a problem. Time to look at the instructions. I've resorted to YouTube tutorials.
Including your quick start guide.
So that just took way longer than it should have. I've got my wife's bike here, so I'm going to do some measurements. I'm going to set up the Zwift bike with her measurements and just let her know that I've set it up for her, and let's see what happens. Current state of affairs in the garage now. Lots of shit. And the Zwift bike is in there somewhere, just over there. Alright, so there has been a lot going on in the house over the past few months, but I finally got Alice at a good time, I think. Terrible lighting, afternoon sun, but that's okay. Alice is going to tell us how she's finding the bike. How are you finding it, Alice?
Better when there's a TV on and no camera in my face.
True. Do you like it how you can watch Netflix in peace and quiet here?
Do a bit of scrolling, bit of Netflix,
Yeah.
bit of TikTok.
But you're not actually using Zwift, are you? What are you doing?
I'm just using the Wahoo app.
Yeah, okay. And controlling your watts.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how do you find this compared to the roller? Because you were into the roller for a while.
I hate the roller.
You hate the roller?
Well, my bike was like clicking so badly on it, and it doesn't do that when I ride it, so it does have something to it. It's noisy,
What do you mean clicking?
like massive grinding noises, clicking
Ooh.
noises.
Be
Not
careful
the
what you're
good
saying.
kind. No, I've probably blanked it from my mind. Oh, there is nothing I could think of worse than riding through one of those virtual villages.
Okay, so you prefer Wahoo app, Netflix,
TikTok.
TikTok, okay. Your TikTok's your new thing.
No, I have both on at the same time.
Oh, okay, the double
Yeah,
scroll.
just complete disassociation.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So this is the big benefit of the Zwift bike for our household on display right here. This is the very next morning. I'm now going to use the bike myself, and in order to do that, I'm taking out the one tool that you will need to adjust everything, which is conveniently attached to the bike. I'm adjusting the saddle height first, which has very clear to follow line guides as per the reach, and I leave the bar height the same. The only frustrating thing that I have to do here is change the pedals, because both Alice and I currently use different pedals, but we'll sort that one out in due course. Obviously, there's many other features to this bike that I could go into here, notably the virtual gear changing system on the bars, which I've used and they work very well. The sturdy, I think it's aluminium or aluminum design, or the fact they've partnered with Wahoo for the trainer side. The only thing I'd pick at here is the messy indentation on the frame to accommodate the chain catcher. I think that could be a little cleaner, but ultimately it's the ease of use, and for me it's literally a 1 to 2 minute adjust. Then I'm logging into Zwift for a recovery session on this particular morning as I'm preparing for my first triathlon in 15 years in a few days' time, the Noosa Triathlon. So the BMC Teammachine fall. What happened? Tom, if you're out there listening, the man that recently bought the BMC Teammachine secondhand, who might be leaning into his computer to hear what I'm about to say a little bit more than others right now, I don't even know how this is possible. My wife essentially took the BMC off the roller and lent it against this exact rusty scooter that you can see here. I don't even know how it's possible to lean a road bike against a rusty scooter, but my wife managed to do it for a period of time anyway. She then got distracted, had to go speak to her sister inside, and between that moment and me running into the garage with high levels of anxiety about the welfare of my BMC Teammachine, it rolled off the scooter and tipped onto the ground, fell over, drive side down. Now this is where the miracle comes into play. I don't know how this is even possible. I took it outside and I looked at it 3 times. I then brought it to the office where it was intended to come anyway, looked over it again 3-4 times. There were no scratches, no marks, no nothing, not even on the levers. I couldn't believe it. It's got to be the greatest drive-side touchdown in the history of road bikes, I reckon. And Alice was very fortunate and I was very grateful. If you've gotten value from this video, please don't forget to give this dickhead a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.